Good morning. Well, here we are in our room at the Oddfellows Arms in Caldbeck. I'm looking out the window this morning. It's an absolutely stunning morning, and the weather forecast is that the sun is to be splitting the sky virtually all day. We've only got maybe about 10 miles to go up over High Pike, which is the highest point on the route. It's going to be a bit of a stiff climb up there, but we've got plenty of time today, so we'll just take our time and get up there and enjoy the view on the way up, I think. Big shout out to the Oddfellows Arms, because this place is excellent. The accommodation is lovely, really comfortable room, and good food and good beer last night as well. The pub itself is lovely. The accommodation is in a little annex off to the side. Caldbeck itself actually is a lovely little place. It's just a pity we hadn't had a bit of time to explore yesterday when we got here, but I think we were both shattered, for want of a better word, and it was 16 miles in the last last 2 or 3 miles was hard work, but we'll see how we get on today. Skiddaw House, the most remote hostel in the UK, or England, one of the two. It might be England. There's a few remote hostels in Scotland. And I'm looking forward to staying there tonight. That should be interesting. So we've got a bit of time before we get breakfast, and we'll see you out in the trail. We've got a bit of a walk in this morning before the climb proper, but we've already gained some height leaving the village. But our route is straight ahead of us. We're going straight up onto this hill right in front of us. And you might be able to make out the gill, the sort of scar in the hillside. We'll be walking up alongside that. Weather's good today, so hopefully navigation should be easy. There's no, once we get to the top of the gill there's really no marked path, so it's up to us to find a way up to the trig point at the top. But it's about 9 o'clock this morning, and already that sun
is warm.
Is pretty damned hot. So it's going to be a day for bimbling, I think. But this is just beautiful this morning. We're just over a mile out of Caldbeck now, and we've reached the point at which the route splits. So just off down there is the western route. That's the bad weather route. It's a bit longer than going up over High Pike, but we're going to be going up this one, and it's going to be a nice long steady climb up this. As you can see, the path just winds its way up the hill, sort of at the back of that old electricity post or transformer there. And this is now just it's like an instant change in the landscape. We've gone from farmland, and this is going out onto open fell. So this is the start of the hill climb really, although it's been steady uphill from Caldbeck this morning. And yeah, engage low gear now. Yeah. Landscape's just beginning to open up for us, and I'm starting to use any excuse just to stop and have a breather. And hopefully we should get some great views north up into the Borders Hills and the Galloway Hills once we're a bit higher up. You can just see the Solway Firth. It won't be too clear in the camera. It's a little bit hidden by the hill just in front of us, but where the wind turbines are in the far distance, that's Scotland, the other side of the Solway Firth. Maybe about a third of the way up now, and we've just walked up through some old mine workings. I think there were lead mines up here at one stage. I'm not exactly sure when they closed down, but this is Potgills mine, and you can just see the slag heap there that we walked up through. Not much in the way of remains here, but I think the hillside was riddled with them a bit further up. The old track that we're walking up at the moment was obviously the access road coming up from Caldbeck. This is a view we've got going up the way at the moment. And this is fairly steep just now, but Solway Firth has really opened up below us, and Caldbeck just nestling down in the valley there. And actually it's cooled down quite a lot now. There's a good breeze, and I'm quite glad for the cloud cover actually, because I think had it been clear today we'd have got fried. But maybe about halfway up, and already the views are pretty spectacular. We made it to the top, and it's always the last couple of 100 yards are the worst. But we're nearly at the trig point, and there's also a bench up there, which is great. And the fells of Lakeland are just beginning to appear over the top of the hill. So this is hopefully going to be well worth the effort. And this is something that we completely missed out on the last time we walked the Cumbria Way, doing Didn't stop for long up here. It was a bit, as you can probably hear, it's remarkably breezy at the moment, and it's not actually the warmest on top. With the wind chill it's quite cool, but we're starting our walk towards Skiddaw House, and that's Skiddaw just in the background there. And if you look in the gap between these two hills here, that's basically the direction we're walking in for the next few days, right through these hills. And I must say they're looking pretty dramatic at the moment, so it should be an interesting few days. But the Cumbria Way route, really, apart from here at High Pike and State Pass, is generally quite a low level route. This is certainly the highest point by quite a long way, but the exciting part of the Cumbria Way is just about to start. We're not far away actually from the summit of High Pike, but there's this little hut which is run by the Mountain Bothies Association, a free shelter. It's really just a bad weather shelter, so go and have a look into it. Just up at the head of this valley, we've got the ravens in close attendance just now. It's pretty small as far as bothies go, but one of these places could potentially save your life in bad weather. I love the fact that it's had to have guy ropes attached to it. Just shows you how windy it is up here. Let's go and have a look inside. That's quite cosy.
That's enough sleeping in here, isn't it?
Don't know what's worse, going up this or coming down it.
They're coming down it.
Yeah.
Wasn't there much light either.
This has been pretty slow going coming down. Still got quite a way to go before we get to the bottom of this gill, and just the amount of rocks up here have made it really quite awkward. You've got to be quite careful as we're coming down. and slow going, so we can't have averaged much more than about a mile an hour so far today, which is unsurprising really. It's been quite tough going actually, this, although I'm not quite sure whether I'd prefer going up or down this. This feels like it'd be quite a tough haul up, but we're about halfway down now, and at the bottom we're turning to follow a river up to Skiddaw House. So all that height that we've lost, we're probably going to have to reclimb. Which is great news. Anyway, I better sign off for the moment, otherwise I am going to end up on my backside. And some more industrial remains here, just what's left of the lead mining industry that was up here. Obviously a fairly small operation, but still part of our industrial heritage. There must have been hard guys coming up here to work and mine in this landscape. An industry that's really long gone from Britain. Way's a bit easier now, still a few rocks about, but path is a bit grassier, it's a bit more pleasant to walk on, and looks like just when we get down to these old workings we're going to have a nice track to walk on. So the mine workings back there, although it was a lead mine, it was actually a tungsten mine, believe it or not. Apparently the only one in the UK outside Cornwall, so quite unusual in that aspect. It was actually in production until relatively recently. The site shut in 1981, and most of the buildings flattened and removed. But it seems there's a bit of work going on to preserve the mines, and they've restored one of the mine shafts there. Yeah, so quite an interesting piece of our industrial history, out in the middle of nowhere. This is the last leg now, just over 3 miles to go, and it looks like we've got a nice steady climb, but on good path. It's a bit stony, so it's hard on the feet, but hopefully it should be about an hour and a half or so before we get there. It's about it's the back of 4 o'clock at the moment, so we'll be looking maybe about 5:30 by the time we get in, which is fine. Been really slow going today, but hopefully on this we'll pick up the pace a little bit. But I think you'd agree it's been a good day over the top. Dead silence.
Well, yeah.
It was certainly worth coming this route. Anyway, I think the
the lower route's a bit boring really. If I remember rightly, there was a lot of road walking on it as well.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, it's been good today, if a little slow. And that's our first sight of Skiddaw House in the distance. We're just heading straight towards it. I don't know if you'll be able to make it out on the screen or not, but there it is. It's going to take a bit of time to get up there, as one of those feels like it's never actually getting any closer. But that's Skiddaw itself, right behind it, the hill, the peak, one of the best known hills in the Lake District. Yeah, this is one of the remotest hostels in England and Wales. Been a hostel for a long time. Recently I think it was taken over, it's become an affiliate hostel. But what a location, it really is out in the middle of nowhere. So I think we've maybe got about a mile and a half, 2 miles to go to get up there. But it's good to have it in sight at long last. Finally. I was way out with my timings earlier. I can't even remember what time I said, 4:30 or something, but it's only 3:15 just now, so we'll be in there in about 10 minutes. With all long distance paths, we've got an unwritten rule that at the end of each day there's going to be a kick in the bollocks, and today the kick in the bollocks is waited right until the very end, and that is quite a stiff climb up to the hostel there. We're dropping down a little bit first, and it's a good rule of thumb. Always seems to happen. There's always one hard climb right at the end of the day when you're most tired, and yeah, this one's going to be hard, but at least at the top of it we haven't got any further to go. But it's not beautiful scenery, but it's spectacular. It's bleak and it's a hard landscape. I think Skiddaw House was an old shepherd's house, so hopefully there'll be a bit of information about its history when we get up there. I'll be interested to read about the history of the place. It's been a hostel for quite a few years now, so looking forward to getting up there. See you in a bit.